Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Timothy Adam Payne, and legally, my name is Staff Sergeant Payne, Timothy Adam, and I'm going through some identity theft by the municipal government of Raleigh, North Carolina, having my rights denied by the Raleigh Police Department. I was trafficked to Raleigh in 2015 after my attorney, when I was getting divorced, converted my name in Erie County, New York, and I was getting divorced due to my ex-wife stealing my identity with the military personnel division, changing my retirement date that was being done in connection with my mother, who's actively contacting my ex-wife, stalking me, for her current husband, who had abducted my niece in 2014, who was buying explosives material in 2019 when I found out that there was an issue with all this bullshit going on, committed wire fraud to steal my disability benefits from the VA. And this was also being done by my mother, who changed my social security number when I was a child, when she divorced my dad. And it all boils down to their own lust for sexual partners, money, going on vacation, just control. It's fucking crazy. It's fucking absolutely crazy. Um, I remember when I was a child, my dad would take us to this lady's house, and we all went to church. Like, we went to this place called Amherst Baptist Church, Amherst, New York. And, everything seemed good until I was like 4 years old. So my dad would take me and my brothers to this woman's house that went to church. And we would go upstairs in the attic and play with like G.I. Joes and shit. And he would tell me and my brothers, hey, you guys stay up here. Grown-ups need to talk. Well, he was committing adultery. And my mom is not innocent at all either. So it looked like they were swingers, And my mom intentionally started abusing my dad, and the whole thing just went sour. Well, my mother was actually stealing my identity, and most likely my brother's identities as well, during this time frame, in another scam that my dad was not aware of. Or maybe they are aware of it. I don't know. I tried to gather a deposition from them. They don't want to fucking know. Or they don't want me to know. They don't want my brothers to know. So I started auditing these records. And there's been name changes, social security number changes, and theft of my military benefits and my military training record. And it's fucking disgusting. It's absolutely fucking crazy. It's ridiculous. Anyways, I'm making this video because I've been filing domestic violence protective orders. I've been filing police reports, trying to get justice, and the municipal government doesn't want to assist in upholding my rights as a citizen of North Carolina State, a citizen of the United States of America, and protect the rights of victims when they're a victim of a crime. And these municipal governments, whether it's the county sheriff, the Raleigh Police Department, surrounding local municipal law enforcement, they don't want to do shit. So I've been reading through the laws, and when I filed my domestic violence protective order, this lawyer that was representing my ex-wife just started lying his ass off. Like, even lying to the judge. Lying to the time when they were served papers. Lying about me being arrested. Like, I was arrested under a different name, under different information, while my stepdad was buying fucking explosives materials. Like, it's fucking crazy. And they dismantled my tow hitch on my Mercedes-Benz that has a lot of electronic components to try to make it look like that there was components for a fucking bomb. So these people stole my fucking weapons, stole my military record, created a new bank account, stole my fucking disability pay, have been stealing my pension going back to when I was deployed to Afghanistan. I deployed with my correct legal information. I was targeted by my command, which were also New York State Guardsmen, and blown up and evacuated under a different service record. So that's a lot. That's a lot to swallow. So I'm making a video on knowing how to protect your rights, knowing what to do, because the government is so fucking spread out, so large, that nobody cares about what any other agency does, nor do they know what their job is or what other people's job is. Or they do, and they're just blindly ignoring you because they're all a part of a big corrupt scam. And I'm going to go ahead and just read what this says and share my story. 4 legs of a competent court or superior court. One of the things about law business, the legal industry, is some of the most important things about law are actually so simple and are easy to overlook. There are only 4 simple truths which empower you to win. The first great secret. Where does the court get its jurisdiction? We have a 2-tiered court system. Consists of, there are Supreme Courts and there are tribunals. Superior courts get their jurisdiction because of whom they are. There are also courts in an inferior jurisdiction. Where do these get their authority in an inferior jurisdiction? The courts in an inferior jurisdiction are empowered to act by pleadings sufficient to invoke their judicial authority. Prosecuting attorneys testify as if they are the injured party, and they don't get to testify because they are not the injured party. They have to shut up because they are not the injured party, which means that the people, not the attorneys, empower the person in a black robe to be a judge. Don't allow this to occur if you are even in an inferior court. In other words, an injured human being have to testify. Now, when I took my ex-wife to court, her attorney was testifying on her behalf, making shit up, lying to the judge, and I was sitting there being like, what the fuck is this guy doing? I'm like, this fucking person is lying, they're producing no evidence, and he was making shit up And it caused me to kind of like fucking deer in headlights. I didn't know what the fuck to do. But now I know to be focused on my side of the spectrum and to stand up for my rights. So the second great secret is Constitution, state constitutions, statutes, laws, rules really doesn't mean a thing in law to it. In their black and white print, but only hint or make suggestions as to what the law is. We have to find out what the Supreme Court has said about the law. Where do we find the common law? Answer: we find the common law in the federal and state annotated statutes. If you can read these state annotated statutes, then you can find out where and what the law is. Shh, this is a secret. Actually, you can read the Bible and find these too. The third secret: attorneys testify like they are the injured party. This is exactly what my ex-wife's attorney was doing, and he was abusing the process, committed perjury, and he also lied before a judicial officer, and he lied about the conduct of a county sheriff on the dates that they were being served papers. And he did that just to buy time to cook up a story, to come up with a plan to commit fraud on the court and to have my case dismissed while he changed my name on the court record. And there are two different accounts that are being used to steal my identity, most likely for him to be paid out through their erroneous rulings in the court. And it's a very well organized scam. So again, attorneys testify like they are the injured party. They are not the injured party. They don't get to testify because they are not the one injured. But they do it all the time because no one puts them in their place. Supreme Court ruling in Trinsley versus Pagliaro says statements of counsel in brief or in argument are not sufficient for summary judgment. I had evidence which I brought to the court, and the judge didn't even ask me what any of my evidence was, and my ex-wife admitted to the changing of my retirement, which would allow me to have a fucking domestic violence protective order due to identity theft. And then I could have taken that over to the county sheriff. I could have had her arrested, and this whole thing would have gone to the district attorney. They would have upheld my rights, and then it would have been a domino effect, which would cause all these fucking things to be brought out into the light and then my information would be corrected. I would get my back pay that is in excess of $600,000 now. I would have my position restored and attend mandatory training to continue my career as a reservist. And it is my right, and it is the duty of the United States government and the armed forces to uphold the rights of the people, because they claim in their oaths that they protect the people of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. So again, Trinsley versus Pagliaro, Supreme Court, statement of counsel in their briefs or their arguments are not sufficient for a motion to dismiss or for summary judgment. Memorize this. Get a tattoo that says this. This is the most powerful thing you can ever use. When an attorney reads from their paper any allegation, stand up and state, "I object." Trinsley versus Pagliaro, Supreme Court. Statement of counsel in their briefs or their arguments are not sufficient for a motion to dismiss or for summary judgment. The fourth secret is, the fourth thing that we're usually missing is a competent witness. This is the fourth leg in the courtroom. You must have somebody at some point in time before the judgment raise their hand and testify in the courtroom under oath and subject to cross evaluation, or it is nonsense. The other side supports their pleading with an affidavit, then you subpoena them and question them under oath. Important to remember, actual facts, not mere allegations of complaint, are detrimental of issue of jurisdiction. If there is no witness, there are no facts. There are no facts. There is no jurisdiction. You must have a competent witness to have the fourth peg on the table, or there is no jurisdiction. Remember, yes, as soon as the lawyer opens his mouth and tells the judge you owe such and such, that is when you say, I object, and then state Trinzi versus Pagliaro. That lawyer doesn't have any idea who you owe or how much. He is just a lawyer reading from a paper. He has no first-hand knowledge unless you owe the lawyer some money. He can't collect zip, and he can't testify that you owe it either. Shut them down. It is easy. I'm going to stop right there, but I would definitely take a look at the rest of this article, and I'm going to slowly scroll because I have a lot of work to do, and I'm refiling my case with my evidence in the complaint, because all this bullshit that I'm going through is a denial of rights and an abusive process by a group of lawyers that all they're doing is gaining positions of power as judges, prosecutors, and they're fucking abusing the United States people. They're abusing the system. They're stealing money. And they're allowing a foreign government to come in and fucking attempt to kill us all. And that is really the truth. That is what's going on. That is how countries and nations are destroyed, from the inner workings of corrupt, sociopathic scumbags that are afraid to do the right thing because they're greedy and they know that they're fucking nuts. And they lie and they skate around the truth just to deceive the masses, and it's up to each and every one of us to understand what the fuck is going on, how to file complaints, how to stand up for yourself, and then to effectively manage your own case and correct the record individually. Thank you so much for listening. I have a crazy fucking family, and my family's information has been stolen going back to the fucking War of 1812.